cut to the chase here, Mr. Phillips. Are you telling people that are travelling both short haul and long haul that if they arrive 2.5 hours before, if they have baggage, an extra hour, if it's long haul, 3.5 hours, an extra hour, are you guaranteeing them that they will get their flights over the weekend?
I'm giving them a high level of confidence, Chairman. And
why not a guarantee?
Because, Chairman, there's a whole range of factors. And
that's your business, Mr. Phillips. That guarantee should be forthcoming.
Is that good enough, Barry Cowen, that Dalton Phillips couldn't guarantee that people wouldn't miss their flight this weekend?
It possibly could be the case that it's not good enough.
What's that now? It could be the case. Well, look, it could be the case that might...
Workers are under immense and huge pressure. Let's acknowledge that. And they'll be under further immense pressure to live up to the expectation that is being created by virtue of the plan that's been put in place. But what happened last Sunday, what has happened to date, has been shameful. It has done untold damage to our reputation. The object of the exercise immediately after Sunday's debacle was to ensure that people were compensated for their out-of-pocket expenses. Secondly, it was to put a plan in place to catch up on where we are or where we need to be to meet the demands of a bank holiday weekend coming. And as has been alluded to, we hope and expect and appreciate the efforts that have been made to ensure that that is the case. And you know, the commitments that have been made that have been contradicted by your workers' union representative already, you know, questions the commitment that was made by Dalton Phillips earlier today. But aside from that, and parallel to that, we have to acknowledge that this has been a failure on the part, you know, you had 97 million was given to the authorities. And he spent that on sweetening airlines to ensure that they were available to meet the demand that was envisaged. But yet when that demand materialised, he hadn't the personnel or the people in place.
So do you believe all the blame rests with the CEO, Dalton Phillips, on this one, Barry Cowen?
Dalton Phillips is very well paid to do the job that he's done, having been appointed by the previous government. And he has a responsibility to the board to carry out the activities in the airport in a manner in which befits the salary that he's presented with and that he is afforded. And his failure, you know, people have looked at this and they said somebody has to be held to account. People look at their applications for passports, and the people that are making the application who are being starved of it in a timely fashion, they're not making any mistakes. People who are spending their hard-earned money going to the airport for a holiday or whether to make work appointments, whatever the case may be, it's them that are at fault. And sometimes people need to see that these people are held to account. I think it was a good exercise by the committee today. And you know, and he will be judged on the responses he gave in the coming weeks.
OK, and a lot of times when we hear people should be held to account, we're talking about politicians in this instance.
Yeah, well, in this instance, no one knows better that I was held to account for an issue that occurred 6 years ago. And I respect and appreciate the job of the Taoiseach in coming to that conclusion, while I mightn't have agreed with it.
It sounds like you're saying that Dalton
as I said to you, he's very well paid. He's moving on to a higher paid job in the coming weeks.
So do you think he should go sooner than he is? Is that what you're alluding to there?
While he holds the post. He has given commitments to a committee today and by extension to the Irish people. He will be held to account to see if he can deliver upon those. And if he can't, yes, he has to be held to account.
OK, he has to be held to account. What do you make of Dalton Phillips' performance in front of this Oireachtas committee? There was a lot riding on it, really, because there's an awful lot of people who are unhappy. They're worried they're going away on holidays. There's an awful lot of workers at that airport that are very unhappy as well. And there is that decision that was made to cut 1,000 staff. Do you think there was a breakdown in communications between the DAA and the Department of Transport that allowed the operator to shed a quarter of its workforce and leave us in this situation?
Well, I think, you know, when we look at where we are in the month of June and we have, you know, the chief executive of the DAA not able to guarantee that people will be able to get their flights this weekend, that's shocking. That is absolute terrible failure. Now, we can go back into why this has happened. The core issue here is the redundancy package, allowing 1,000 people. They cut very deep. 1,000 people to go on, highly qualified security staff, nearly 250 of them. But that wasn't just Dalton Phillips' decision. That was the Minister for Transport, wasn't it, that signed off on that, and the Minister for Public Expenditure that signed off on it. Two government ministers allowed that to happen.
And have you confidence in this plan? Have you confidence in what they're going to say and their ability to turn it around this summer?
They have a plan, but as Dalton Phillips says, the margins are tiny. and a number of people who fall ill this weekend, then we've got a problem again. Okay. They have no contingency plan. And for an island nation, we should be able to get on a plane and out of the country in peak season. This was well flagged up. If you look back at Ryanair last August was signalling that there was strong consumer demand to get back into the airs. They released another statement in January saying that they expected a big, busy summer. And what happened? Recruitment didn't happen, the training didn't happen, and now we have queues outside of Dublin Airport last weekend. And that wasn't the first time, because we had it in March. We had reassurances last week to say that it was going to happen, and then we had it again. So I cannot say with any confidence that this plan is going to work. And, you know, we have the Minister, eventually, the Minister for Transport, turning up, but he has been completely absent and abdicated his responsibility for months on this issue.